Did you know that you can buy property for just R1? I know it sounds crazy, right? But in today's video, I'm going to be comparing physical real estate to real estate that you can buy online, which is real estate investment trusts. I hope you guys are going to stay tuned until the end because it's going to be really interesting. And for those of you guys who are new, I'm Conrad. Welcome to the channel. If you don't mind, please hit the like button and subscribe button. It will mean a lot. But let's dive into the video. So, what is real estate investment trust? A real estate investment trust is basically like stocks that you can buy, but it's real estate. Okay, that sounds crazy, but it's basically you go online and you can buy these properties and you can buy a small share of it. So it's like a big pie that you get, and because the pie is so expensive, it's so many calories, you can't eat the whole pie and you only buy a piece of it. So that's exactly the same thing you do in a real estate investment trust. So I'm actually going to be comparing it to physical property and looking at what is a better investment. Is it real estate investment trust or is it physical property? Okay, so in this article by Forbes, right, they actually compare real estate investment trust to other forms of investment. They say that from 1977 to 2010, REITs have returned more than 12% annually. This is in comparison to a roughly 10% return of the S&P 500. S&P 500 is basically the stock market. Okay, for those of you guys who don't know, it is an index fund, and the 6 to 8% return of private real estate funds during the same period. And also over the last 5 years, REITs have an average return of around 9%, where physical real estate has an average return of 8%. So the difference is very marginal. Now I'm going to give you guys some positive of investing in REITs instead of physical real estate. And the first one is to do with the large capital amount that you need to put in with real estate. So with REITs, you don't need to put such a big amount down because you can buy just R1 of one property. And also this translates to the transfer fees that you need to pay. With REITs, you don't need to pay those hefty transfer fees that you need to pay with physical property. Physical property, you need to pay about like something, if you're buying a 3 million rand property, you need to pay around 300,000 rand worth of transfer fees, which is about 10%. And that can get hefty because that is a big capital amount and the banks don't finance that portion of the loan. You need to pay that with cash and you need to put a deposit on top of that as well. So that is a mouthful, but basically what that means is that with REIT, you just pay a small amount. It's like a stock. You only pay the transaction fee that you get, and there you go. There you've got your property share. Also, you receive cash flows every month from the real estate investment trust, and sometimes they pay it semi-annually, sometimes they pay it every annum. You still receive cash flow and you can receive dividends from REIT. So it's very much alike. It may not be as much as physical property, but it is still a portion. Also, it is extremely easy to diversify. When people give you advice on investing, they say you need to diversify. That's why people invest in indexes like the S&P 500, where they have a small piece of every share of the top 500 companies in America. So that is a lot to do with diversification. With real estate investment trusts, because you only need to put a little bit down, you can buy a bit of every real estate property. And then obviously minimize your risk. And lastly, it is extremely liquid, and this is basically means is that if you want to take your money out now, you can do it. With physical property, you need to wait about 6 months to a year, sometimes even longer, to sell your property. With this, you can actually sell it within hours, within minutes you can sell it. And so we look at all of these positives, but then we also need to look at the negatives of investing in real estate investment trusts. Right, so the first one goes with control. With REITs, you can't control the property. You can't just go and walk into this property and say, listen, okay, you need to go and fix that chair, you need to go do that, you need to go do that. You can't do that, okay? That level of control that you have with your own property, if you would have bought it, you don't have that control. But then again, that could be a good thing because it adds to the passivity of the investment. Some people don't want to touch the investment, they just want to have return. And you need to remember that when you invest in something like, for example, the stock market, there is always a chance that you might lose your investment because of the volatility of it. For example, with the latest stock market, things are dropping by 15%, 20%. This might have an effect on your property investment, whereas if you would have invested in a physical property, your property won't fluctuate unless something extreme happens. Okay, so then we need to ask ourselves, is real estate investment trust for you? Okay, so we need to conclude. Alright, so I'm just going to give you guys a quick disclaimer. Please don't take this as financial advice. I'm not giving you any financial advice. You need to first go and do your research on this and make your own conclusion. But I'm going to give you guys my opinion. So taking all of these positives and negatives into consideration, REITs are actually not that bad. You know, for the amount of transfer fees that you're not going to pay, you can actually use that money to buy more properties and perhaps just get a larger return, especially if you're starting out. But I would say that, you know, rather than just buying all of it all out in REITs, also buy real estate, but you need to make your own conclusion. That's just what I'm getting at. I actually want to make a video on specifically how I would invest, like go on the website and teach you guys how to do it. If you guys are interested in that, please let me know. But that about just wraps up this video, guys. If you guys are interested, I made a video about how I was able to buy 2 properties before the age of 21, and I give you a lot of tips and a lot of valuable advice that I learned that you perhaps need to know before you buy a property. If you like this channel and what I'm about, please subscribe and like the video. And until next time, guys, see you guys in the next video.